disappointed because Charlotte wouldn't do it, Mom wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it, but I agree, finally. So we'll say a prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing on this gathering here as we try to do our best for our community. We ask you to speak with words of respect and goodwill, and to be open to opinions of others, and most of all, be of service to you as an example, as our behaviors to be an example. This we ask in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody knew those words.
Are you proud? I mean,
They must have memorized.
well, I think Gen X is the youngest in here, so I mean, we were all tortured in school, so of course we know it.
That's the only thing I've learned.
Law school or high school?
All of it.
Ms. Graham, as the former secretary, would you establish a quorum?
Yes, we do have a quorum. We have Misty on the Zoom, and then the three of us are present. Gil and Mallory are not available.
Okay, we'll next move to the treasurer's report.
Lake Forest as a whole for June 2026 was over budget by $3,489. Year to date, as a whole, we are under budget by $83,021. Administration was under budget for the month by $12,581, and we are better than budget year to date by $60,021. The legal department was over budget by $7,237 and year to date by $9,072. The golf shop was over budget by $10,878 for the month and over year to date by $11,248. That can be traced directly to how we budgeted sales for the month, where we had budgeted sales and we missed that projection by $14,473. Y'all are on site. You know that weather has been an issue for the last couple of months. Golf maintenance was over budget for the month by $10,220. Year to date, we are still under budget by $21,893. There's always going to be some timing differences in golf maintenance, as one of our biggest line items is the fertilizer and chemicals, which year to date we're under, but last month we spent more in that category than was budgeted, and that's what it made us over for the month, but we're still under year to date. Facilities was under budget by $518, and we are over year to date by $7,267. Marina is over budget for the month by $750 and over $7,609 year to date. That's mainly fees collected is under what we had budgeted for last year. I was asked to report on tennis. We're over budget by $2,843 this month, and that is basically due to we were fixing cracks. We had some cracks to fix, and that pushed it over the budget since we're no longer collecting the fees and so forth. Pools was under budget by $4,466 for the month, and we are under year to date $10,062. The yacht club was under budget by $638 for the month, and we are under year to date by 19,163. The 19th hole was under budget for the month by $199, and we are over year to date at $3,418. And that's the report for this month.
All right, I'll open it up for discussion. Does any board members have any comments or questions?
I think Misty had some questions about some of it.
Misty?
Hi, yeah. So, Bill, I have some questions about a few line items where we were over budget. I'll start with line item 6960. It shows that we had no rec center expense budgeted, but we had $3,000. What is the rec center, and where did that expense come from? Or maybe Jeff can answer that. I'm not sure who best.
That's the special events budget for the year.
Special-
That's why we're showing that there's we just broke up the amount that we had for the year in equal increments over 12. It usually is pretty light the first part of the year, and then the summer event, Halloween, and Christmas kind of really dig into that surplus that we got there. But that's just how it's listed. But it is the special events budget.
Okay, and we have the summer bash coming up, so that makes absolute sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. The next line item is 7052. We have a compensation expense, $3,700 over budget.
That is for that's the computer expenses. That's what we pay BIS to manage our software.
Oh, that's computer expense.
Yeah, we
Okay.
got we had a couple of things, and I think everybody had the same issue around June where Microsoft and Outlook completely crashed. BIS upload Windows 11 to 11 different computers. So that was kind of an expensive little endeavor. But yeah, that's what that's for, the computer expense line.
Jeff, have we looked into enterprise licensing for all of Microsoft Office and with the Copilot add-in? Have you priced that? I know we've talked about it previously.
We got it on the one. It would be lost on the POS systems and and also on the laptops that some of the staff members have to use. It would really only be beneficial for maybe 2 people in the office, but it still might be cheaper than just paying for the one that we got. But yeah, I'll get with what is his name? I'll get with BIS to find out, get a price on that for us.
Yeah, I was saying if you're installing 11 individually, we may be getting close to enterprise pricing.
Yeah, would that have also included the app that we're gonna go to, the pre-work on it?
That was March and April. So that attributes to the overage for the year. But for the month of June, it was really heavy with those surpluses of that BIS, the updates they did, and then we've had some little things where they've had to do a couple of other little troubleshooting things for us. So that's where we kind of sort of got off the rails there.
Okay, Misty, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have two more questions. So line item 7120, our credit card expense was $3,000 over budget. Is there something weird going on with that, or?
It's summertime. It's that line's not for if we purchase something on the credit card, I go in and say, okay, if I spent $100 at Walmart, I'll put that line item into the food budget for the 19th hole. That particular line item right there is what we have to pay Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover for service charges.
So this is tied to increased revenue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's people are using their cards more with the new payment system, it being a little bit more friendly to use. A lot more people are signing up with ACH on a card because they're able to do it themselves. Previously, they had to come in and fill out a form, and then we had to send it in. It was this big to do. But now that it's become a little bit more automated, more people are paying with cards, and especially during the summertime, people want to get off the suspended list so they can use the pools. So that's something we'll just have to look at in the budget for 27, just to see that's I guess our new reality. is more people.
I have one question about that, is whenever we pay, because I do, whenever we pay with a credit card online, that's a fee as well, so you get a fee and we get a fee? Stingy. Okay.
Okay, my last line item is 6250. Outside services was over budget by around $6,500.
Yes, sir. That's we very rarely use outside services in the golf course maintenance department. But there are certain things that we're just not able to do. Annually, we go through and we grind all the stumps of trees that have fallen that we've cut down. So in June, we had a stump grinding service, and he cut 53 or ground down 53 stumps for us. So that's what the overwhelming bulk of that was. About $5,000 from that invoice was from the stump grinding that we did on the golf course and other common areas. But that's probably
Okay.
what we're going to use this year for it, is that's the only thing that we really put there is the stump grinding.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Bill. That's all my questions.
Okay, is anybody else got any questions,
good.
any follow-ups? All right, committee reports have been posted, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll now move to member comments, and
So you got it.
you can read this.
We only have one? Right? Miss Al. That's me.
I wanted to read this email that I sent because the BOD at Lake Forest, blah, 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 is not working real well. I sent this email twice and it came back to me both times. So I wanted to read it. I wanted to make sure that everybody on the board heard it and understood. I attended the extremely uncomfortable board meeting, which was 2 weeks ago on July 9th. I have rarely seen such a display of juvenile behavior, and I taught K-12 for almost 30 years. The mood was painful. It is no wonder so few community members attend these meetings, no less want to be a part of this body. The disrespect exhibited amongst board members was truly unsettling. I speak particularly of Mr. Opdyke's ignorant comments to Dr. Sable. I use the term ignorant because Opdyke refused to accept her expert opinion on statistics. She is a statistician. He has no background in statistics. Where does he come off disagreeing with a statistician? She stated statistical fact. The fact that he does not understand it does not give him the right to disagree with those facts. He was extremely rude, and I believe he owes her a public apology at the very least.
Is there anybody on the board that wants to reply to those comments?
I'm good.
We'll move to old business. And the May stated meeting
Wait, Matt.
minutes. You're not,
Do you want member comments?
Oh, I was just gonna ask a question. I mean,
No.
that was,
no. You can make a statement if you sign up.
What's your name? Sorry.
Dolores Jones. Because I do want to start coming, you know.
Oh,
and
no,
so
you're good. Come on up. We will.
Come on up. to
What
the-
I was, I was just gonna say, I just wanted clarification of what we were just talking about. You know, so that I know next time, and hopefully I'm coming and everything, but just, that was just a board meeting 2 weeks ago. That was not the POA, but we are able to come to it.
We have this meeting twice a month, so it's like the second and fourth Thursday, I think it is. And the first one, the second Thursday, is the working session where we're just kind of,
Well, that's what I
brainstorming
thought,
and
but,
talking.
but we could come, but I've
Yeah.
never been to one of those.
yep,
Okay.
that's definitely one we can
Alright.
attend. And then 2 weeks later, which is this one, is the stated meeting, which where we do all the
Right,
fancy.
that I was
The
thinking. I
working
would-
session is not a formal meeting. But sometimes we allow comments from the members.
Okay,
Sometimes we don't. Very seldom lately do we not allow comments, but
okay. I'm just trying to get some background so that I know, thank you.
They're all recorded, so you can watch them online anytime.
And that's what I wasn't aware of that. So thank you.
Of course.
Okay, the May stated meeting minutes.
Do you guys have those? Cause I know I have them over here
Yeah, they're,
and did you guys quickly read through? It looks like everybody's listed now.
Yeah, they're good.
you know. You wanna read through them, Charlotte? You wanna
No,
read?
I had read through them. I just know that there
Okay.
was, the reason we didn't approve them last month was because I think the
Do I hear a
attendees
motion?
were incorrect.
Move to approve the May stated minutes.
Second,
I second. They're fine.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't have them, so I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
Minutes are approved. The June special meeting minutes. I don't know what.
The June, the special meeting.
We had the replacement, the meeting about, Victor's.
Oh, yeah.
That was all, wasn't it? And that was the same issue, was just attendance.
Yeah, I think there was just the names were, we just needed to update the names.
Yeah, move to approve.
There's a second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, they're approved. Now we have the June
June.
stated meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on those? If not.
And this is the one that Gil wasn't present either, right? The stated for June, because he was in Hawaii, right?
That's right.
It'd be listed as the, who was.
Yeah, I wrote those minutes.
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Do I hear a motion they be approved?
Listen, I think this is the first I'm seeing things.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, these are the first time. Because Gil was out and
Yeah,
Misty did them.
um,
Right, old business, we discussed the changes that we just approved. Went over committee minutes,
We just make a motion to table them if you don't want to. vote on that.
yeah, the cell tower, yeah, everything looks like it's here.
I'd like to move the table a minute. I can have a chance to look at them.
Do I hear a second?
I mean, I'm fine with tabling it.
Okay, all in favor? We'll table them.
What about Misty Mallory?
Nay.
I'm trying to my emails quickly because I feel like they were sent weeks ago. 1 second,
Yeah,
please.
I mean, I've read these before, so,
Is Mallory on here too?
yeah, Mallory's
Yeah,
right there.
Mallory is,
Okay,
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, Mallory, we're entertaining a motion.
Yeah, I said nay.
Oh, Mallory's name.
So this is July 9th working session minutes, correct?
No, the one I'm
No.
looking at is
I
June
did that.
25th stated,
I did that.
Right.
June
Right.
25th.
June
Okay.
25th stated meeting.
right?
Yeah, can I, that's what, you don't do minutes for a working session. There's not, shouldn't be minutes for that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all
This is
doing that. but it
stated
should be.
meeting.
That's what somebody said.
Yeah.
These are stated. So it's June, it's
Stated,
May
yeah.
stated, June stated, and then the special meeting that was.
Yeah, I just thought somebody said, somebody.
Sorry. I mixed up my dates.
Gil did those and they were sent 4 days ago. So maybe everyone's not fully caught up on just the last couple days of email if we haven't seen them.
No, a lot of emails.
I just
Okay.
briefly skimmed today. I did not spend a lot of time with them.
What it had.
So it was tabled 3-2, I think, right?
It was tabled.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Misty, what's your vote?
I vote to table.
Okay,
So 4-1.
Table.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Okay, June financial review and approval. Kind of went through that already. I don't know why that's on there. Okay, Lake and Environmental Committee report.
Well, got interesting things going on. We strategically asked the Army Corps of Engineers and the Department of Environmental Management to take a look at whether any wetlands violations had occurred along in another subdivision where there's a golf course, where they collapsed the bulkhead that is allowing silt to come down into a tributary of Dolan Creek, which then flows into our lake. ADEM responded July 8th and said that it, from their viewpoint, did not appear to be a violation of the construction stormwater regulation or permits. Now, I said this was strategic here. We really expect that this is a core issue and not a state issue. But just in that idea of trying to cover all ground, we also filed with them. So government, being government as we would expect, said not our fault, and we'll move on and really have better hope, more hope with the state. We did on the lake restoration project, did have a kind of get to know you call with two scientists from South Alabama. Good folks, really smart, and we have some hope there of getting some help from them in looking at how we go about framing some of the grant applications and fundraising. Our next attempt to meet with them will also include the Mobile NEP folks, we hope. Right now, summertime and everything, there's a lot of scheduling conflicts, but we're trying to put it together. The Lake Committee, in its meeting here on July 9th, authorized Jeff to go ahead and start to get things ready to apply for a grant. I think you said they were $5,000 grants.
Yes.
Right? A $5,000 grant to install a kayak put-in. The grant application process is not open until next year at this point, but we want to have everything in order at the time. The idea would be to look at whether we can put a kayak put-in at the Bayview Bridge later this year, perhaps early next year at the latest. The city is going to be rebuilding that bridge, and at that time they'll, it's assumed, be using one of our pieces of property that's actually owned by our preservation nonprofit as a staging area. That staging area would also serve nicely as a parking area for people who want to put in kayaks. So the idea is to try to work with the city, get the grant, install the kayak launch, and then ask the city to pave and stripe, or maybe some other means we haven't thought of yet, that would then give residents kayak access there. So we think it's a good idea, and we're going to apply for the grant. And this is the Alabama Waterway Enhancement Program as the grant, just in case anybody knows. So we also have some bad news, and it's going to get uglier before it gets even better. We have had a continuing problem, long-standing. I don't know how long, Matt. What?
I don't, at least 10 years.
Yeah, a long-standing problem with the sluice gate at the dam. It's been stuck partially open. We didn't know how open it was or what was causing the problem with it to stick. This started back when Matt was running infrastructure and the Lake Committee was a part of infrastructure. So we had divers go down and take a look. They cleared railroad ties, tires, all kinds of things that were stuck in the sluice gate.
Railroad ties?
A railroad tie.
Logs, trees,
Yep.
you wouldn't believe it.
Rebar, are, yeah.
That's the other side.
They just kept, no, that's on the other side.
That's on the other side.
Yeah, but they just kept pulling stuff out and we kept going, wow, really? So, that has improved water flow, which is a good or bad thing, depending. It's going down the lake a little bit more. The bigger problem is that because we have now run into this issue with the sluice gate and we've had the divers down there looking at it, we have learned that we have a bent bar that controls the ability to raise and lower the gate. The
Screw
gate,
shaft.
I got
if it's a shaft, yeah, it goes down like this on the gate and then turns a wheel, and so this is bent.
Bent in three places, bent three different directions.
So to do this, we now gonna have the divers go back down, take another look and see whether we can cut the rod and take it out that way, or whether we have to bring in heavy equipment to pull this, but it's, none of it's good news. But, we need to have that sluice gate as an operating gate for flood control and just as a matter of practicality. So, we'll let you know on that, but, it's looking costly.
So how much did we budget for the sluice gate? Wasn't it, I don't remember the exact number.
The repair, I think, was
The sluice gate.
120,000.
I don't know.
But that was a total
No,
replacement
no, agreed.
That,
of
that,
the
that,
sluice box.
wait a minute. The repair of the sluice gate.
Right, because we
is
talked
for
about
next
this.
fiscal year, and it's $120,000, I think, in the budget. And,
I thought it was for this year.
yeah, this year we had,
12,000 for this year.
I think, 15,000. And with the maintenance,
Facilities maintenance.
we paid a diver to go down
Yeah.
out of facilities maintenance.
How much did we pay the diver to go down?
About
36.
3,000.
35,
3600,
36, yeah.
3600, 3800.
Well spent money, I'll say that.
Any reason why the rest of the board didn't understand and know that that was happening and the call's happening?
And
I
then
know
what
it's
that-
under Jeff's threshold. I just didn't know anything about it.
I don't think any of us did.
I thought we had talked about it and we, you know, we certainly raised it in the lake committee. So I don't know why I didn't know about it.
I mean, I don't recall that this was something that was brought up. I mean,
Organized, sure.
thank you. I mean, that's almost $4,000 for a diver to go down into a lake. There was really no solution that came out of it other than knowledge. I mean, I understand we do have to look at things, but, and now you're saying that you're gonna want him to go down there a second time. So there's already $8,000 and that's just, that hasn't fixed anything.
Would you not fix it?
No, that's not what I'm implying. What I'm implying is that this probably needs to be something that is discussed on a bigger scale. Not saying that the lake committee isn't handling it, but like Mallory's saying is none of us were really aware that this type of expense was going on within the lake committee. When I know that we probably need to know that these things are going on
Well, then
because
wait a minute, this was not in the lake committee. This is a facilities maintenance expense.
Jeff.
Well, it's
uh,
being
Lake
included in the.
minutes is why I'm saying
report.
lake committee, not,
Oh.
that's why I'm saying lake committee, because you have it in the lake committee
Sure.
minutes. So if
I
it's,
want you to know about it, but it's
Agreed.
not coming out of the lake budget. It's a facilities maintenance expense.
so you're saying that Jeff spent $4,000 on a diver and wasn't communicating to the board that that was something that
Well, I
we were
don't, I
having
don't wanna
done?
speak for Jeff. I'm telling you that it came out of his facilities maintenance expense. The same way you guys go to him for event funding. and
The event
tennis
funding is
repairs at the
discussed
golf,
every
you know,
stated
all that.
meeting with everything that we're
Uh,
going on. Specifically this
so-
year, I'm not on it, but last year it was every meeting we went over what committees, what the committee was discussing and what events were coming up to be expensed on it.
Yeah,
So-
If you feel that having an event for a handful of people is more important than
There is
protecting
an
the
events committee, so I
environment
don't know what we're talking
and a
about.
wildlife
Hold on, hold on,
habitat,
hold on.
then I'll yield to you, you know?
One at
I
a-
think it's more important
one
to
at a time,
protect
one
the
at a time.
habitat.
No, I'm not really
I'm
talking about,
not recognized.
he's starting to
Down,
talk, you
one at
said
a
I was
time.
recognized.
You're recognized
Thank
now.
you. So, no, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do anything for the lake. The problem here is whether we do or don't do something. The problem here is the lack of communication and transparency, even with across the board of what's going on within, these different areas. So you're saying that the expense happened within something that Jeff's responsible for. So you're saying that Jeff should have been the one to communicate this information out. But my question on that is, this is listed on the lake committee minutes. So it's something that the lake, you just said, was discussed in the committee. So again, we're going back to communication and transparency of this was not something that any one of the rest of us were aware of. That's all.
Yeah, you want to say something?
I do.
Okay. It's
Oh,
Tom.
thank you. We operated here under the same provision that the repairs to the tennis courts were commissioned, that the event committee does things. I don't know how you're spending your money till after you spent it. Like,
We
you
don't
know,
have an event
we
committee.
have, well, all right, but on events, all of that money it's decided, I don't hear exactly what you're doing for the event. I just know you're having an event. We had a little discussion about, gee, should it be a band? Mallory says, oh, of course it should be a band. Okay, should be a band. Nobody ever said, we're gonna spend $4,800 or $1,800.
So I guess my question should be posed a different way then.
So again, if you can spend money and call it fun and call it an event, geez, let me have a little money to protect the environment. We are lake forest. We're not event forest here,
All right.
Thank you.
Misty,
Hi,
you
so
want to
I have,
recognize?
yes, I do.
Yeah, I recognize Misty.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a few questions, in addition to a short comment on, the back and forth just now. Tom, I think Charlotte's point is there's a different level of communication applied to different projects depending on who leads them. The tennis was mentioned well before it was spent and it was discussed at the board, and everything from infrastructure is immediately shared with the board well before the meetings. And we just want that level of communication from all of the committees. And I think that that's the crux of the argument. Moving on to my next point, with the grant and the kayak launch, I hear it's a $5,000 grant. It will cost substantially more than $5,000 to build an adequate and safe kayak launch. It will also increase another area of insurance that we would need. And then if the city doesn't pave the parking, then we would have to build some sort of parking. So my question is, have you done a study to identify the costs that would be associated if and when we receive this $5,000 grant? I think that would be some really useful information for the board, so that we could be more informed in considering the decisions that we have coming. My last point is the cost of the diver that Charlotte brought up. So if one project requires the diver to go down more than 2 times, that project automatically exceeds the $10,000 threshold. And cutting it up into individual $4,000 dives does not mean we still didn't spend $12,000 on 3 dives if that's what the project requires. And so I think that's probably where that question was coming from, because that was some notes that I had made prior to us even initiating a back and forth. Thank you.
Okay. I'll talk now. On the kayak launch, we haven't done anything as far as we'll develop a plan. We'll see what it'll cost before we'll engage in that. And in terms of the diver thing, we expended 3,800, I believe,
I
Yes,
think that's right.
on the diver. Yeah. If he goes back down, we'll spend another 3,800. But we got $12,000 next year in the budget for repair of that sluice gate. And we have to know how to repair it. So we'll put a plan together. We're working on it now. And we'll bring it before the board and so on. You'll hear all about it.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
I have an additional comment. So I heard that there was a meeting between the Marine Science School and some members. I didn't see any notes about that, and I believe that there were some members on the board that were interested in being a part of that conversation, as that contact was made by one of the board members. So I just want to understand if we're going to see some notes from that meeting, and if there was any reason why only a small section of the board understood that that meeting was happening.
Well, the notes that you see, I described as a get-to-know you meeting because that's what it was. I don't know that there are any extensive notes out of that at this time. We knew from the beginning that it was just going to be a get-to-know you meeting. I didn't see at that point any reason to open this up and tell other board members we could be there, because I knew that we were not at the stage where we were going to accomplish anything. It was a bunch of handshaking and discussion of schedules. Felt like you want to be in that. I apologize that you weren't.
Yeah, I just, there's a greater interest in this entire project. And then also the fact that we had a fellow board member make that connection with some of her colleagues. I just find it a little, I'm not sure the word.
Underhanded.
That's a good word.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna just get on the record
Hold
here.
on. Mallory, are you through?
Yes, sir. I'm done with my comments. Thank you, Matt.
I'll recognize Misty.
Okay, just for the record, because we really care about transparency. I offered to Matt and Tom to make an introduction to my colleagues at South Alabama School of Marine Science. I connected them over email. I tried to coordinate a meeting where I said I wanted to be present, since it is my professional contacts that I was connecting with my private volunteer board. I specifically, and Tom, I can show you the email, said I want to be included in this meeting. You intentionally excluded me from the meeting. It was underhanded. It was intentional. And since you're talking about the meeting and the board, I'm going on the record so that it's very clear why the meeting happened and how it happened. That concludes my comments, Matt.
Okay.
Matt, I have a comment if everybody else is
Do
done.
you want to say anything?
Well, I would.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't believe you can judge my intent. You can infer all you want. I would dispute it with you, and as I said, my explanation was respect for scheduling. This was nothing more than a handshake meeting. As soon as we are able to schedule the second one, I'll be happy to let you know.
Okay. Charlotte, your turn.
I think the only thing that I want to make sure is pointed out, and this is across not just this particular one, but some of the other things that have been discussed tonight as well, is there is a serious problem with transparency on this board and communicating what's going on in terms of different things that are happening, because we all do have a vote, we all do have a say. And if we can't be transparent between the board and what's going on, it makes it exponentially more difficult to be transparent with the community. That's all.
Okay. We'll move to the infrastructure committee meeting report. Misty, are you gonna give that?
Yep. So infrastructure committee now meets on the Monday of the same week of our working session so that we have plenty of time to pass committee recommendations into the working session and give the board a little more time so that maybe we can include some things in our stated meetings, and that's what we're doing this month. So when we last met, and I have the printed minutes here, so again, I'm not going to read them for everyone, but just going over the highlights. We revisited flow-through decking for the piers at the waterfront. And although the committee previously thought that it may not be good to spend the extra money to get the flow-through decking over the wood decking, after having the contractor GCLM present at the infrastructure meeting and having Shoreline Engineering, the engineer for the project, at the meeting, we had a more in-depth discussion, and the committee now recommends that we use flow-through decking for the pier building project. The concept of cross bracing was brought up. This is something that does make piers more stable, but only in specific conditions, and it has to deal with the height of the deck from the water, as well as other things. At this time, we decided as a committee that that would not be an expense that we should invest in right now. We also discussed pile wraps. Pile wraps are something that you put around the piling that supports the pier, that protects it from sea life and deterioration. And so we've now discussed with the contractor and the engineer. The contractor at a site visit last week, and we did not review this in committee, but only within the board, thinks that it may be likely that the existing pilings are showing significant signs of sea life, and so it would be suggested that we use the pile wrappings. So that is a price adder in our contract that we'll be discussing later on in the meeting. And so while the committee did not recommend it, we have received further information from that last discussion. Our permits have been submitted and are in process. And after the committee meeting, just on the pier project in general, we had some members of the board meet with the operator and GCLM on site to identify areas where construction could be staged, and well as discussing the timings for utilization of the boat ramp and just a general on-site pre-construction review. And so that's where we saw the pile wrappings. And that's about it for infrastructure updates and the pier project in general.
So if I'm to understand you correctly, the contractor inspected what's out there now and gave a recommendation?
Yes, we spent some time walking around looking at all of the pilings along the bulkhead, as well as the destroyed finger piers along Dock D. And he said that he felt it was likely that we're going to have a sea life problem and should use pile wrappings. So you're right, Matt.
Okay. Permit status update. Yes.
I've only received notifications that all of the permits have been submitted and are initiated. I don't have an update on the status.
Construction agreement discussion.
Could you say that one more time, Matt?
Construction agreement. Construction contract agreement discussion.
I believe that is a later agenda item in tonight's meeting. So I didn't want to skip agenda items between there.
These other items in your report. Misty,
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
you don't want to cover the other items on your report? I was just reading.
Oh, our information about the contractor agreement? I'm sorry, Matt, it's just difficult to hear you. Maybe could we scoot that mic closer to you?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay, so you're asking about the construction agreement item in the minutes?
On your report, you got.
Yep.
You stopped after the power wrap, and that's why I asked about permit, update, construction discussion. You got those headings in your report after power wraps. I was asking you
Yep.
about those, kind of reminding you that they're in your report.
Okay, so the committee did work on reviewing the construction agreement. Mike Malsom provided a suggestion for how we establish the payment system as we progress through the construction process. We added additional notes and comments that I shared from the committee to the board and with the attorney for consideration in improving the agreement.
Is that it?
And there's no more information on permits.
I'd like to ask a question, Matt, if I may.
Oh, you're recognized for, as long as you have your question asked.
Okay, thank you. Misty has a great job on all of the peer stuff here, but I wonder if some other things are not falling off the table. I know we were pretty well along on a contract for the stables, and I haven't seen anything about that. Can you tell me where infrastructure's at on that?
It's not an infrastructure item at the moment.
Why is that if the contract was being actively pursued before?
Because that was a priority of the previous chair. It is not a priority of the current chair.
So the chair alone decides what is a priority?
The chair of a committee generally sets the agenda for the committee.
So are you saying that as the chair that you alone decide what is a priority, that a contract that was, I don't know, maybe 10 months or so in negotiations and had a good chance of coming to fruition was just ignored? What happened?
Can I make a comment really quickly?
Absolutely.
I think that, as Missy stated, the chair is responsible for setting the agenda, leading the team, if you will. But the committee members are also more than willing and capable of suggesting ideas, projects, etc. And it appears that the committee as a whole has been focused on not this project. So I feel like there are members on the committee that feel that this is a project that needs to move along. I feel like any committee member can bring that up, but at the current moment right now, Misty is driving a project that is far greater, I think, in a state. So, like I said, the chair, like she said, drives the agenda, and all the committee members are open to provide ideas, projects, etc.
I believe the way it was stated was Misty was asked at the first committee meeting I went to, why are we taking one item at a time on the agenda? Well, the interest was, what about the other things? Shouldn't they move along too? And she replied, we're covering one item every meeting. So that's why we proceeded on with one item every meeting. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, Matt, you are exactly right. I remember the meeting because Mike said he wanted to work on a bunch of things. And I had sent an email to the committee saying I really wanted to focus on completing one project at a time instead of working on 5 projects at a time, just to ensure that we were making progress.
Yeah, John
When
Lake made the same comment. All right.
But Tom, maybe perhaps you forgot that email where I explained how I was going to set the agenda. So I'll refresh your memory. What we're doing is we're working on one project at a time, and then we're going to discuss as a committee what we should prioritize as our next project. But we will not move on to a new project until we've completed the project we're working on. That's the only way we can ensure that we're getting the hard things done and consistently making progress.
I would refer you to the committee guidance in the bylaws. I'm not sure we're following that. Monthly GM report.
All right. So, as Bill mentioned, we've been dealing with a lot of, had the rains, in June, and then the locust and mosquitoes the first part of July. So for golf, we're down, right around $6,000 from 2025. Still got a lot of time to make up on that difference. Looks like it's about 2.2%. In this industry, you're always having to look for the forecast of what's coming up. And I know a lot of you have heard on the news that we're expecting a much more mild and drier fall and winter. So hopefully some of those days in October, November, and December, when the winds are 20 miles an hour and it's 40 degrees and the golfers don't want any part of that, hopefully we can have some warmer weather to help offset this and finish the year strong. For maintenance, we've had a lot of things. Been dealing with a lot of back office and administrative things. As we talked about earlier, the app that we're working on is getting looked over right now. Some of the board members have logged on just to sort of get a feel for it. We've revamped the Lake Forest website a little bit to make the app flow into it a little better. So when you get on and see some changes, everything is going to kind of tie in. You'll see it'll all make sense once it all comes together. It's going to be a lot more user friendly, and I think Charlotte's looked at it. How would you describe it, Charlotte?
The website or the app?
Website.
I like it. I think it looks better. I think it flows very well. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to the tile thing. The app will be based off of that as well. You'll log on to the app and it'll have a picture of the burger at the 19th hole. You click on that, takes you to the website version of the 19th hole. All of the stuff that's board related will be over in a drop down little menu to the side. So your minutes, your agendas, all your board meeting videos, everything will be inside the app. So it's pretty much your one stop for everything Lake Forest. You can just go there and not need to hop around. They'll also have the ability to do some messaging. So instead of an e-blast, hey, your Ridgewood pool is closed. Ridgewood pool's not closed. Please don't misconstrue that. That was an example. But I can send that through there, and everybody that has the app will get that message on the app on their screen immediately, not having to go check their email. So it's taken everything on. We're not being given access to an app from Jonas that's on in the Google Play or the App Store. We are making an app from scratch, from nothing. So it is every portion from every margin and logo and color. We've had to put all that together, but we're in the home stretch of that. So that's taken up a lot of the time this month. But we've still done some great things at the marina. We rewrote the. Took us a little bit longer than what we were planning. The old rebar and plastic that was in the previous notches had, you couldn't pull rope through there like you could pull wire. So we had to bore out each of those 40 little holes through the concrete. So it took a little bit of time, but it was well worth the wait. So over to the 19th hole, as we've talked about before, when golf is down, the 19th hole is down as well. For the year, we're down about 3.64%, but we've got a lot of things that when business is better in golf, it's going to be better in the 19th hole, because that's who the overwhelming majority of our business comes from, is from the golfers. Saturday I said overwhelming, not all. Saturday, the staff is ready for the back to school bash. Everyone's really excited about that. Got confirmation. The operator for the Mechanical Shark called to confirm. So we're ready. It's gonna be awesome. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a mechanical shark. We've also got working on plans for the next big event after that, which is going to be Beer Fest on October 2nd.
Nice.
Finalizing the little tweaks on the menu that we're going to do for it. Kind of take what we did last year and we over 3 weeks, and we're just going to cram it into one day. We're going to have a blast. We've got a little bit different thing we're going to do on the beer specials. I think everyone will enjoy it. It's going to be $3 draft beer. We're going to have our draft beer. We've got some Guinness. By that time, Oktoberfest will be in, Yingling, Miller Lite, Michelob Ultra, and then a special one. So $3 all day that Friday for anybody that wants to come October 2nd. Have a good time. We were going to do it cheaper, but we didn't want the law to be. But yeah, so of all good things coming up, this is sort of our summertime. Everybody's traveling. It's really hot, too hot to do things. But the fall is really when we start doing the bulk of our themed events. So we've got the back to school bash. We've got the Beer Fest. Then we're going to roll into Trunk or Treat. Then we're going to roll right into the Continental Breakfast with Santa. It's going to be great. So, all right. So that is the GM report.
All right. The next, unless anybody has any comments or discussion on the GM report. Mallory, Misty?
I'm good. Mallory oh, she's back. She fell off a second, so I'm not sure if she was able to sign back in. She just texted me a few seconds ago.
Okay.
But I don't have any questions about the GM.
All right. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is climate survey update, and Misty has that. So Misty, shoot.
Okay, so at the working session, we reviewed the initial results of the survey. Those results have now been added to a slideshow that we're going to post to our website so that all residents can see the results from the survey. And just to be very clear, this the aggregation and the representation of the results have come straight from the survey software. No board members have done anything like stripping responses or anything like that. So what you see is the aggregate raw data responses from 275 participants. So I'm guessing, Jeff, how long do you think it would take to post that to the website?
Due to the size of it, it might just read better as an e-blast. Would that be okay? Just sending it as an e-blast document, and then I can send out in the newsletter a link to the PDF. Would that be better? Because I'm not sure how it would be. The way Wix is with trying to download PDF files, it's not very user friendly.
So if you're gonna put a link in
Okay, so you can't upload PDFs either.
if you were gonna put a link in the newsletter, where would it link to?
Just to a PDF, a separate. It wouldn't go to the website.
Can we do that on the website? Where the link is on the website and then that takes you out?
Yeah, we can do that in the news section. Yeah.
That right.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to do a blast, because I don't know that you want to blast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can do that by Monday.
Everybody in favor
Awesome.
of that? Everybody in favor of that?
I'm in
Yes.
favor of that.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Mallory?
Mallory?
Yes.
Okay. Misty?
Yes.
Okay. So we.
Why-
put it
Are
out
we voting? Why are we voting on this? Are we voting on this? What?
We're saying we
as
agree.
it's going out to the community as a whole.
So we're voting on it, or I'm confused.
We just did.
I also got disconnected for a second.
Matt,
Yeah.
what is your vote?
The vote was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was 4 for putting it out as you suggested, and 1 against.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah,
By Monday. Yeah.
all right. We'll move to new business. unless anybody's got any more comments.
Okay.
So, waterfront pier update, and Mallory's on that.
Yeah, so I'm going to provide a update on where we are with the project. Misty's kind of touched on some high points. Since we last met, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We have been working with Patrick on a potential contractor agreement. The board has all either provided no comments or all comments. All board members have reviewed the contract, and we've provided all of those comments back to Patrick. That includes the latest and greatest final design from Clay, based on our all stakeholders meeting that we held that 4 of the 6 board members attended. Misty touched on that a little earlier. That was an opportunity for everyone to lay everything on the line as suggested by Tom in advance of signing any contract to ensure if there were anything, questions open, something that needed to be changed on the scope. So we have the engineered plans ready and final. We have the proposed contractor agreement that Patrick, I think, sent over this afternoon for the board's final review. Let's see what else. So we're in the very end stages of that. I'd like to formally vote on the contractor selection of GCLM for the project. And I would like for us to consider a vote on the contractor agreement with a caveat that there could be some amended changes that we can ratify at a later date. Does the board have any comments? Or Misty, is there anything that you would like to provide?
I would like to.
Recognize Misty.
Thank you, Matt. I move that we vote on utilizing GCLM as the contractor for the pier building project.
I second that.
I have a motion made and a move to second it. Is there any discussion?
I would like to discuss it.
Recognize Tom.
I have a number of concerns here that run from financial to practical. We have 2 engineers on this board. Neither one of them, or only one, has expertise in maritime areas, and maritime construction is quite different. We have not taken a look at this project in a way that follows our own policy. We have not approved the scope of work, which we should have done before. We have not authorized contract negotiations. We have not chosen a contractor. The price of this project is now approaching $400,000.
That is untrue.
You can talk after I'm finished, all right? The price of this project is now approaching $400,000. There have been attempts to minimize the amount and deception in how the numbers were put together. We started showing this project at $117,000. How'd it grow to this? We then showed it at $271,000. We're now approaching almost $400,000 when you include the pile wraps and the caps. We need a project manager. There is no expertise on this board to manage something this substantial. We don't want to, we shouldn't, and worst of all, we should not put this on Jeff, which is where it will fall, because anybody else who's involved here has to work full time. So how are they going to manage it? We need a project manager. I support this project for the piers, but I can't agree to spending that kind of money without a project manager, when a project manager simply adds a very small percentage to this. It's our insurance. It's a $10,000 insurance policy. Now, again, we came to the scope of work here in ways that I just can't understand. We had 3 instances where bid specifications changed. There's 5 overall. Even in this last spec that the Mallory provided here for this contract, we changed 8 of the 16 specifications from the very bids that we started with from 3 contractors. But we had already selected a contractor. We told the other 2 to go away. We can't do business that way. We have a right at this point, we have an obligation to the board. This contract has now changed by 51% in value. We have an obligation to the membership to make sure that we're getting the most we can for our money and that we're doing it right. Not the way somebody with no experience thinks it should be done and should be managed by this board. As it stands, this project will cost members 2 months worth of dues. 13% of your dues next year will fund this project. We have 33 contractors between Mobile and Pensacola who want to do this kind of work. We asked 7. We didn't put together a bid packet. We sent out a back of the napkin drawing and asked people to give us a bid on that basis. And then when we started to write some kind of scope of work, we took their advice for what it should be. And then we had to change it and we changed it again and then we changed it again. That's not the way you do this. We need a clear scope of work, a bid packet, and we need to rebid this package. Thank you.
So, any more discussion? Anybody else?
I have my hand raised.
What? Who was that?
I would like to speak.
All right, you can, Misty, I recognize you.
I want to provide some clarity on the narrative that Tom just shared. I've been the project lead for reigniting this project. I began when I was last on the board because I have always lived on the water and I live near the waterfront. So it made sense that I would try to help with the project. When elected in March, I reviewed our records and found that we had a permit with a stamped engineer design to build the piers that had just expired in March of this year. This project first initiated 3 years ago. It's a legal obligation of the association. It's not a question of should we build it, we must build it. Our legal counsel has advised us of this. There have been 6 committee and board meetings where this has been, if not the only, but the primary agenda item. There have been over 100 board emails discussing all of the parameters of this project. Tom's fantasy narrative that he just provided is incorrect because there have been months of discussion. There have been years of plans, and there have been government provided permits to proceed with the project. The reason the small addenda items have been changing that Tom referenced, which is true, are small things like, do we want to nail the caps on top of the pilings, or do we want to pay the contractor to do it? It's not the structural design of the pier that we're discussing at this point. This is a false narrative. This is an attempt to delay something that is putting the neighborhood at a legal risk if we do not continue moving forward. That's it with my comments. Thank you.
Okay. Any more?
I'd like to make a
I'll
I'd like
wait-
to make
I'll
some
wait.
comments too, please.
Okay, Mallory, I recognize you.
Okay, thank you. So at first, right, so Tom, I think this is probably the second time that you've kind of insulted someone's profession. So I just want to say that I don't appreciate that. For one, you don't know if I have experience in marine construction or not. And I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of Alabama, and I would stay within my area of expertise. So I just wanted to make that known on the record. Also, you want to talk about changing specs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We had a meeting with the engineer that stamped a design that a previous board approved to proceed with the project. So stepping back a second, talking about what the information Misty provided, we simply were picking that a previous board had already approved, just stating again that we had a permit that was stamped by state agencies and we were moving forward with. The upgrades, I will call them, to the design were based on feedback from the engineer who said at the time that the board was looking at the least costly item at the time. The committee and the board discussed, based on people's expertise on the board, that there were some improvements that we could make that would make the design last longer. Hence, we were thinking of the community's money. If we're going to spend the money on this project, we want to ensure that if a hurricane comes in 5 years, we're not sitting here again. Next, I'm not sure where the data came from that you said that the pier project started at $117,000. So I'd like a little clarification on that. Tom, please.
Are you finished?
I would like an answer to that. Where did the $117,000 project number come from?
Okay, Tom, answer that question.
Okay, yeah, if I said 117, I misspoke. I think it was 171.
Okay, where did that come from?
They are from the initial bids that were started back in when Jeff started.
2023.
And Mallory, I apologize to you if I offended you. I am not aware that you have marine experience, but if you do, then I withdraw my comment and respectfully apologize for that. Yeah, that was one.
Thank you, Tom. But
and go ahead.
I was just going to ask, when was that from? I'm not aware of that.
No,
of that.
Here it is.
bid
It's not one.
or
Here
quote
it is.
or-
I'm looking at my notes now. It's from the April to the lowest initial bidder on the April 27th through March 1st round of bidding. It was 191,310.
Okay, so that's a big difference. Who was that bidder and who was that?
Hold on. If you look at
That was the bidder who had never built a marine project before, and he bid it as a residential build, not a commercial build. Tom, that was discussed in detail at
Misty, one person at a time. Tom and Mallory are engaged in a colloquy that I authorized just now. And I'll let you talk when they get through if you want.
Sorry, thank you.
Go ahead.
All right, so that number, I was giving you that number just to show you the extreme. If we use that number, then this project has changed by 115%. I wasn't using that number. I threw it out there just so you had a look at it. I'm using the 271 number, which was the number from GLC that was in the packets that were approved. The one that was submitted, April 27th.
Okay, oh, sorry.
724.
Okay, Mallory, does that answer your
Yes.
question?
Yes, sir. I have
Okay,
another
go
comment
ahead.
though. So
Go
yeah, so
ahead.
just
Go
to
ahead.
put things in perspective, again, just touching on what Misty said, we had a bidder that does not have experience in marine construction. So if we would have dug into the bids and asked for clarification for them to provide the exact specs of marine construction, they probably would have been within this ballpark range of the other bidders. Back to the 271 number, that number did not include the upgrades that we made to the design, which accounts for that 50. I'm driving, so I don't have the number in front of me, but that accounts for the delta between where the contract or where the quote is right now and where the committee voted on the selected contractor. So I'm just giving full context to everyone and to put it on the record what that delta includes. It includes the upgrades that the board and the committee recommended for this project. They're not changes, they were upgrades, if you want to consider that. That's all the comments that I have. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Tom, you have-
All right, I would like to reply to a few things. On the upgrades, I don't disagree with any of the upgrades. And again, I'm going to say I favor the project. I just can't handle the way we've gone about this. We started with the initial girder specs of 2x8 marine grade. I don't know where we got that from, but that's where we started. We had some of that from the 3 vendors who bid. This is the April 27th through March 1st bidding. Some of them also bid 2x10 pressure treated there. Mallory, you spec'd 2x12 with the CCA .80 treatment. So all along, we've been changing those specs. I don't disagree with your change. I'm simply saying the changes here are substantial enough that we need to rebid this. The same thing.
So
with
vote
the
no,
the
and let's
same
move
thing-
forward
the
with
same
the vote.
thing with the joists.
Don't interrupt.
They were 2x8 originally. The vendors came back at 2x8. Mallory said 2x10. I agree with that. 2x10, but we changed the specs again. Let them rebid. Discussion about the cross bracing. 2 of the 3 said, don't even do the cross bracing. So Mallory deleted it. I'll accept her expertise there. On the decking, 2x6 marine grade was the initial discussion. When the bids came in, 2 bid 2x6 marine grade. One of them also bid the through flow option. Mallory specified the through flow option. Another good choice. Rebid. We get to hardware. We're all over the place on hardware. We get to 3-inch stainless steel screws and 5/8 inch bolts. Mallory specified 16 stainless so that we've actually got some, or is it 316? I think I dropped the number there. So that we've actually established some quality in the stainless steel. Another smart choice. I don't disagree with any of that. My point again is that we have changed the specs on 8 of the 16 items.
All penetration.
And the cost has changed by 51%. Where's that come from? Our last estimate, 321, 386. We add the caps and the pile wraps for another 35.5. That's 356, 886. There is no contingency built into this that shows on the budgeting here. And marine projects are notoriously cost overrun items. They say add 20%. I'm only adding 15 here for another 53,530. That brings me to 410,416. That is a substantial change over 271. Rebid the project. Go to the 33 bidders in this area. Respect the membership's money and don't saddle them with 2 months of dues and possibly a dues increase because we're too far down the road on a bad decision. Thank you.
I would like to make a
Matt?
response, please. Oh, go ahead, Misty. You're good.
Yeah, Misty's next. Misty?
Matt, everyone was given the opportunity to comment. I ask you, please, as leader of the meeting, that we don't get unlimited rounds of comments. A vote has been proposed. It has been seconded. It sounds like Tom is voting no. Can we please proceed with the vote? Thank you.
Yeah, just to reply to your comments, I don't think we ought to limit comments on this. This is something very important. We'll let people express themselves fully, and then we'll vote. Is there any more discussion?
I didn't want to clarify one thing. Lastly, when
Okay, I'll
we
recognize Mallory.
created a technical bid tab for the 3 elected contractors. Those 3 contractors, based on a spec,
Mallory, your phone's breaking up.
compare
there.
apples to apples. Can you hear me?
Better now.
Better now.
Okay. Oh,
So it's definitely in and out,
contractor
Mallory.
bidding on.
Yeah. Hey, Mallory,
Go ahead.
I picked up pieces. I believe what Mallory is stating is we started with the least expensive commercial grade option for the project as a baseline apples to apples comparison for all contractor bids. If we did it any other way, it would have been a much more complicated process. So that's why some things like marine grade versus pressure treated have changed. One is cheaper than the other. It's always cheaper than the other.
Means nothing. There's no spec.
So
Green
we
grade.
just started with the baseline specifications from recommended commercial marine grade builds. So, you know, we've already established that Tom is not a statistician, even though his numbers are great. They paint the picture Tom's trying to sell with his no vote. I ask that we move forward with the vote, please.
You have a comment, Mike?
I do. I have a comment. I think the only thing to point out is, you know, while this is a big project, I think anybody can understand that. We are under a very tight deadline, legal obligation to address this problem in a very timely fashion. The second thing I want to point out is that this is not the first massive project that has been done since I've been on this board. The previous one that was completed was right out here on Golf Terrace, which was a drain, getting the drains completed so that no longer tried to wash those houses down the street. But that was a big undertaking, but it was just right. This, if you go outside, you can see exactly what that, I think it was $600,000-700,000 was spent on getting that the drain corrected. At no point during that scenario did we go into the next budget cycle and raise dues because of that process. So with this particular one, we do have a building fund. We do have a money set aside, obviously within our budget, to be able to handle a project of this size. So, I mean, is it something that we need to do? Yes, because the alternative is probably just as expensive, if not more so. That's all.
Okay,
Yeah, say something.
now, go ahead.
Yeah, Charlotte, respectfully, we did raise dues after Gulf Terrace. That's when it went from 60 to 70.
And how much of that money did we already have sitting ready to go? And that wasn't for the project, to pay for the project. That was to rebuild the building fund after the project.
Well, because we took it from there, but I mean, we
How
raised
much-
dues
Matt,
to
how much was
refill
the
the
expense on Golf
coffers.
Terrace?
Look, this is complicated enough without.
What was the total
getting
on
into
Golf
other
Terrace?
Projects, but we had an initial proposal by 4 engineering firms, Live, Driven, I don't remember who the one. We selected one, we got into the project, the contract price for the project was $460 something thousand. Where the $700,000 came from was that was a cumulative cost of all the repairs, trying to fix it,
Right,
providing a temporary road passage. We had to go up into the median, we had to remove some trees and so we had to provide a temporary fix until the design could be finished. That was $10,000.
Mhm.
All those things together totaled about $700,000.
about just over 7.
And it depleted our building fund and our reserves
Mhm.
and left us at the end of the year with about $25,000.
Right.
We were in dire need. That's why we raised the dues the following year. Well, we decided during that time, we were having our budget meetings to raise dues for the coming year. And that's how they got to 70, I believe, $70.
And that's also where the money's coming from, in order to be paying for what we have
Well,
now,
I don't-
besides the money that's already sitting.
I'm the treasurer. I don't know where the money's coming. We hadn't started those meetings yet, but,
Last question for you. How much did the project manager cost for that?
what,
How much did the project manager cost for that?
the design engineer and project manager,
How much was he?
I believe 70,000.
About $70,000.
Mhm.
That's substantially more than the 10,000 that Tom was talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he did design work.
I agree with you.
He did design, he didn't do just project
I
management.
agree with you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna talk now.
Go
Now
ahead,
it's
Tom,
my
go right
turn.
ahead.
You know, at the outset of this project, we were trying to get in sync with our SOP, which guides us along the way. And we were supposed to have a board determination of whether this project was a capital improvement project or a major maintenance. It doesn't make a bunch of difference. But Misty decided it would be a capital improvement project. We didn't have a board vote on that, so we went forward with that. But the first line of capital improvement project guidance says the procedure for a capital improvement project shall involve the interaction between the board of directors, the corporate project manager, and the corporate attorney with limited involvement by the GM. The GM has no direct role in this type of project with the exception of coordination of existing operations as deemed necessary. Right off the bat, that's the first line. We didn't appoint a project manager. We didn't appoint a project lead. We only appointed 2 people to go to the folks at the waterfront and continue the negotiations that we had going. And they were blindsided at that meeting. But I learned that much later in the process. I didn't hear that right at first. The capital improvement project SOP has a number of provisions in it. One for alerting the membership and giving a presentation to the membership. We never did that. So what I'm saying is, this project has been kind of cattywampus from the beginning, but the main section of this project improvement process is line item 8, which is contracts, and it says the board will approve them. So we're faced with a project. It says the board will approve them after approve the solicitation package. What is a solicitation package? A solicitation package is the plans, the drawings, the specifications that we've been talking a lot about, okay? And the contract, and that's what you get the bidders to bid on, the contract and the drawings and the specification, a solicitation package. We didn't send out a solicitation package. We kind of skipped that step. So that's why, and the reason these processes are laid out here is to protect the property owners in the association, to get the best bang for the buck. Now, the discussion has been, well, we got 7 bidders to bid on it, and what they bid on was different than what we have now. That's a fact. There's 33 possible bidders out there. Tom's advocating, I guess, rebidding the project. Is that right? Well, you know, to complicate things, the owners of the yacht club, the operators of the yacht club have really changed their tune in the way they approach this issue of these piers. Initially, we told them we weren't going to build our piers for various reasons, depth, constraints, etc., charges from the state, etc., and so on. And they agreed to work with us on it. And they proposed alternatives to the well, we proposed first giving them $75,000. They after a couple of months they rejected that, and they said, "What about this playground area and a fire pit?" We said, "Well, we got to see some specifics about it." So the next month they brought us some drawings, but no estimates, no bids, no nothing. You know, so the operators were working with us. They said, "Never mind." We said we want to amend the contract. We gave an amended contract language that Patrick had worked up. They said, "We're not going to never mind the contract. We'll work with you. We just want to make this thing work, and we want to make it good for the homeowners association and the yacht club." We said, "We do too. We do too." So we began to work on further alternatives to the piers. Well, they've come back at the beginning of this year after the election, and apparently at the first meeting, which again, I personally didn't hear about the attitude that they presented us with at that meeting, but they became very demanding. They said, "You need to build those piers," you know. So that has put a pressure on the board. That's put a tremendous pressure on the board. And we began working with, I don't know why, but selected a contractor. So we selected GCLM out of 2 qualified contractors, 3 of them. One of them apparently wasn't qualified. But the bids that were, the request for bids that was sent out was nothing more than a first sheet of a permit action, which the board had approved in previous years. We didn't approve the project as we approved the permit action. So the project wasn't previously approved. That's a fact. And we had the old permit drawings, and that's what we sent out. And I think I asked Jeff, what information did you give the bidders when you sent it out? And
it was a diagram of the previously permitted pier design.
Yeah, it's a 1-pager. It's a plan view. It's got color indications on it. So we have gone from that to more and more definitizing and discussing the whys and wherefores of the specs. We went from penetration of the piles to 4 feet all the way down to 16 or 12 feet. That's a lot to drive a pile from 4 feet to 16 feet, especially when you've got a number of over 100 piles to drive. That will affect the price of a contract. So Tom is making this argument that we sent out 7 bid requests, I think, is that right?
Yes, sir.
7 bid requests, but that was only to bidders in Baldwin County, is that right?
It varying. It was just the, using a lot of the previous bidders that had bid on it before. So yeah, but it was 7, yes, sir.
Baldwin County.
Oh, yes, primarily. Yes, sir.
Baldwin County. And he's pointed out, I don't know who they are, but that there's 33 possible bidders out there. And he's advocating for rebidding the project. Now, we're gonna have a vote here in a minute on the motion. I'll get the motion restated. But that's what the argument has been about. From my standpoint, you know, we kind of mucked this up all along the way. And now we're faced with, what do we do? And, you know, Charlotte made the point, we got a client out there raising the heck at us and saying, you know, you should have already built these. That's debatable, but we'll entertain a vote if we'll get you to restate the motion, Mallory.
I make a motion to formally vote as GCLM as the contractor for the water fountain project.
I think Alberto just logged in.
Yeah, Gil just logged in.
What?
I second.
Gil, can you hear us? I don't know whether he knows what the motion is.
Yes.
How long has he been on? So,
About 5
3
minutes.
Yeah. Couple minutes.
hey, Gil, how much discussion did you hear?
On and off about the last 45 minutes.
No, y'all, that's Bill, not Gil.
Oh,
Not Gil.
Bill got all of it.
Who is
Gil.
it? Bill? Oh,
Yeah,
oh, I thought you were saying Gil was on there.
no, we're showing Gil, but I don't know whether he can hear us.
Was Gil on there? It says Gilbert Cologne over there.
There you go.
Right?
Is he on there?
Gilberto, can you hear us?
Okay, we're gonna,
Let me see if I can raise him. We don't know how much he's heard or where.
it's important to see if he's on there or not.
Hey, Gil, it's Tom. We can see you on the screen here. But as we were trying to talk with you and it sounded like you couldn't hear us. You, he's being muted. Is there
He's not.
anything you can?
I'm asking him to unmute, and he's not muted. Like,
Yeah.
I'm asking him to unmute. Yeah.
So now, all right, Jeff thinks you're unmuted. How about now?
He's muted now.
I'm asking him to unmute. Like, I can't.
Yeah, you look.
He's
like-
unmuted.
No.
There you go. He's unmuted now.
Are you? No, we still can't hear you.
Why don't you just put him on speakerphone and
Operator
just put
error.
him on speakerphone on your phone? No,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Could I put you on speaker here? All right. I'll try to turn this up. You tell me when you're able to hear things. Are you still with us? Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Gil, I was,
Okay, so we have Mallory and Misty on Zoom and Matt is running the meeting, and I think he was about to speak with you.
What I was gonna ask was how much of the discussion had you heard?
So the first I'm gonna tell the team they apologize. I am currently in Orlando, not for pleasure. I'm attending a JRTC conference that is mandated by my higher headquarters. So I just really got back. So I'm lucky I'm able to log in. So I got to hear the end statement of Matt, and I was able to hear a little bit of what Misty provided.
Okay, well, do you want to hear the other parts of the discussion that was substantive and it went on for quite a while?
So I think I heard the motion and someone seconded the motion to select, what was it, GCLM as the contractor?
Yes.
All right.
Matt is asking you if you want to hear some of the debate that came after the motion. There's been no vote yet.
So I had the opportunity last week. It was last week or this week. I actually meet at the waterfront. So any questions that I had or concerns, I was able to actually ask the contractor personally myself. I'm not starting as anything. I didn't hear what the other team members of this board said, but we are at a point that it doesn't matter how we got here. We're here.
Yeah.
So either we vote to move forward, but what I don't want to do is move backwards.
Yeah, I think we can revisit some of the ifs, ands, and buts after we have this vote on a later meeting, maybe in an executive session or whatever. So we'll carry on with the vote if I have your approval.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mallory's made a motion that we hire GCLM as our contractor. Is that right, Mallory?
Yes, sir. Based on the committee's recommendation to move forward with GCLM as the contractor for the Waterfront Pier project.
And I second.
And Charlotte has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
No.
And I abstain. The motion passes. So GCLM is our contractor.
So what's the next step from this point on?
The next question is, we've never voted on who should head this project or whether we should have a project manager. And I would entertain discussion on that. Do we want a project manager on this project?
I believe.
My original suggestion was that we utilize the infrastructure committee, which has 3 professional engineers on the committee and marine construction experience. Mallory has mentioned that she would be willing to be the contact or the lead of the group. But if we choose the infrastructure committee, we'll review things in committee and share with the board. If we choose differently, then we'll add a new agenda item to infrastructure.
The only thing with choosing the committee, we're really talking about three different things here. First of all, we're talking about who should sign the contract for the homeowners association. I believe Jeff could sign the contract or the president.
Where we authorize.
We authorize, all right. Then your name gets on the contract. Then we're talking about somebody who would go out to the construction site periodically and check their work and check their compliance with the contract. And I believe Mallory has suggested we put in some stop points at which we'd have to get approval from that person that the contractor has satisfactorily progressed to that point. Each of those 4 points or 5 points or whatever that she suggested that's what a project manager would do. An on-site inspector or area engineer, whatever we want to call him. The PM, that's what the SOP on projects envisions. The project manager doing this thing. And the cost of that project manager will depend on what we ask him to do. If it's no more than follow the contractor, make sure he's complying with the contract and certifying to us that those points have been met. But that's out in the field. The committee can't do that. So Mallory would have to do that, or we would have to appoint a project manager. We have some project manager people. Yeah,
A couple, what do you call?
who are they?
Josh Haber's one of them. The guy that you see the building here. Then there's Wade Burton. We can reach out to him. That's two that I know, but I haven't asked anybody yet. Just people off the top of my head.
Okay. Discussion.
I have a comment. May I make it?
Yes.
We have expertise in-house to be able to manage this project with our own internal resources. That's my opinion. We can leverage our own internal resources and save the community a little bit of money.
Are you volunteering to do that?
I will serve as the project manager point of contact. Yes.
All right. So I make a motion that
Can I-
Mallory be the project manager for this project.
I mean, you might want to clarify, because that's different than what was described.
I second.
Missed it a minute ago.
Yeah, I
We
know.
was talking about doing this committee and having these people do it, and I'm gonna tell you, if we're gonna do that, we have to change the contract right, because the contract's written where it says, the draft is written where it says that the project managers is the person that they can deal with, project manager's authority up to a certain point to do things,
Right.
and you can't have 3 or 4 people doing that, because, I mean, you can talk to them and give advice if you want, but if you can't have, because the contractor, and I'll defend them a little bit, and say the contractor's gonna be going, well, so-and-so told me I can see this happening, so-and-so told me we should do this, or so-and-so told me that was okay to
Exactly.
change that, and,
That's why I said the committee was a bad idea.
okay, so that's not what this.
What
motion
we're
is.
talking about now is Mallory
Okay.
alone acting as a project manager for this project.
Okay.
Any discussion of that? Mallory, you're gonna be available to do that?
Yes, sir. We have 4 hold points in there. I'll be able to support the project.
All right, good enough. All right, do I hear a motion?
Matt, I think you made a motion and I second it already.
Oh, okay. Well, any more discussion?
No.
No more discussion.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear you.
we're
Go,
here.
Gil.
Hey, I just want to make sure that I know Mallory is volunteering. I just want to make sure she has the bandwidth to actually be the project manager for this.
Mhm.
So I need a confirmation. It's okay to volunteer to move this forward. Do you have the bandwidth, right, to assume these responsibilities for the POA?
Mallory, did you hear her give
I
her
do gladly. Yes, sir. I did. Yes, sir. I do
question?
gladly.
She said yes. She's answered. Okay, is there any more discussion?
No.
We'll have a vote.
Vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Did Mallory vote?
Mallory did. Misty,
Yeah, aye.
Okay,
Matt and Tom, what are you up?
we have 4 ayes and
No.
1 no.
And what about you, Matt?
I was among the 4 ayes.
Okay.
There's me, Mallory, and Gil.
And Matt.
And Matt,
I think Charlotte, you're the one.
Charlotte.
I said aye at first, yeah, so it's
And
5
Jill said
ayes
aye.
all right, 5 ayes.
and Tom, no.
All right,
Okay.
All right, now, we got a project manager, we got a contractor. Now, the question comes that I had is myself is, Mallory, I was looking at some of these blue notes that you have on the contract. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir, I do. I have to drop in like 10 minutes.
Well, I would just entertain the idea that you have included on here jetting, which I said I'm against. And I think all along the committee has said no jetting. And I don't know why this note's on here.
Did you see the rest of the comment? It says they are jetting only to ensure plumbness of the piers, the piles.
Yeah, I'm still against it.
Okay, we can have that discussion with the contractor. We can get clarification. We can have a pointed discussion about this. We talked about this in the committee meeting too.
What committee?
We
meeting?
talked about it on site. too.
On site was supposed to be go over the lay down areas and so on. That wasn't.
Yeah, we also talked about it there. And then it was also in the committee meeting as well.
So be it.
I was just trying to, because, you know, I got to figure out how to put it in there, because I do understand, and I actually talked to a guy from Bill Tears today, because I happened to have a meeting with him, and I got a bunch of free information from him. Anyway, but he was talking, I asked him about the difference between jetting and pile driving and all that, and he did agree. And I guess my question is what's the difference between jetting to plumb? I mean, what does that mean? Because basically, as I understand it, and you guys know more about it than I do, but as when you jet, in other words, what you're doing is you're pumping it into there and you're digging a big deep hole, and then you drop the piling into it, as opposed to cramming the piling into the ground where the dirt, because the dirt around it's going to, dirt or mud, whatever, is going to be solid around the pole versus, you know, I'm digging a hole and then I don't even know how you fill it in afterwards, because it's going to be softer dirt and all that around it.
The pile develops its strength.
Right.
Vertically due to friction along the pile surface all the way to the bottom of the pile. It doesn't, the piles aren't bearing on something. They develop skin friction. The other thing, they develop their strength against lateral forces. And that's what I'm concerned about. When you jet, you're digging a hole so you can move it laterally.
Yeah.
And then we've eliminated cross bracing from the project. And I think jetting is just not a good idea. And the contractor will always advocate.
Can I ask my question? I just wanted to understand the difference between jetting to ensure plumbness of the piles versus just jetting. You know, what is the difference? And Mallory mentioned that. I want to make sure that we put a definition of that. If it ends up in there, what that means. When you're jetting to ensure plumbness, how's that different between just jetting? Can you hear me? I don't know.
Was that a question to me, Matt? Patrick?
To the project manager.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to understand it, since we're talking about.
That's right. So they would. Yeah, I got the gist of your question. So jetting to install a pile all the way down is, like you said, you're using whatever mechanism, water, air, whatever they use to insert the pile into the ground. When you're jetting for plumbness, they already have the pile driven to the elevation that they need. They're just ensuring that the pile is plumb. They may not even go down a foot. They may not, you know, they've already drilled the pile to the right elevation. It's using it just to align it.
So they're still using pile driving to put the plumb. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're only going to jet a foot or two?
No, I'm not. That's just what that's.
You know,
I don't know what they're going to do. We can certainly ask them, but it's not anything significant that they're going to have to jet.
Just get that in the contract, what it means.
When you jet, you pump water down a pipe, and the pipe's used to create the hole. But when you jet, you create voids along the pile. That's how they're able to move it.
Can I make one comment to help you guys out? One of the reasons that I think the board cares about this, you're thinking, why do we care? Is because they don't want to have to go out there and fix this pier over and over and over again. And that's why they care, because that end up costing Lake Forest more money. So I think that's why they care about the quality of the work. So
Well,
that helps anybody.
that's a specification that we're changing at the last minute, as I see it. And we're changing it on the advice of the
Oh,
constructor.
okay.
The other thing is the contract that was passed out at the meeting, the percentages, that Mallory has suggested for the removal of the piles in blue are 5% authorization, 10% upon completion of phase one. Those percentages need to be changed in the contract. The contract now says 10%, 10%. It needs to say 5%, 10%.
Okay, so we're supposed to be 2%.
Sorry.
And,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I don't have myself, I don't have the ability to read this, lay out the exhibits and digest it all to be able to approve this contract at this meeting. So, I don't know whether other people can read faster than I can, or they can digest all this stuff quicker. But that's my opinion on this. I've caught a couple of things sitting here, but
Right, he does have an adjustment to make. I was just showing him.
Yeah, she showed.
The-
I
the
don't know why.
adjustment,
I don't know
so-
why I didn't see.
I
that.
mean,
I
this
missed it. I
is the
apologize.
same contract we've been going back and forth on for a little bit, and we just have a couple more tweaks to do, and I think we'll be good.
we can, I would make a suggestion. We can have a decision without a meeting, maybe a phone call where you get everybody on a conference call. And we've had time to read the contract and digest it all, and we can say we approve it as written, or we make some changes. We can do that over the next week, I think, next couple of days or whatever. I can do that the next day or two. I don't know how other people feel about it. Yeah, you, Tom?
I might not be available for the next couple of days. I can do it early next week.
Okay. Anybody else? Misty?
Matt, do I second your motion to do a meeting with the decision or decision without a meeting?
Yeah, Mallory would, as the president, Mallory would call us to that meeting. And so
Okay.
Yeah, it's really up to her to do that. So that's what
I'm
we'll
fine with
do.
that.
All right, that's what we'll do as far as approving the contract or not.
So is 1 week good for everyone? Everyone can have their comments back by next Thursday at the close of business?
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see all the exhibits?
We need the drawings.
Yeah.
We don't have all the exhibits to
I
the
think you have
contract.
the drawings.
They didn't print
Those
up properly,
emails.
so but they're in the email you sent out. I
They're
just
in the
didn't get them to
emails.
print up in the truck.
Yeah, the project drawings, I think the one that I don't have, is, I can tell you, is I have the scope of work, exhibit A, exhibit B, the contractor's written proposal, I don't have that. And then the project schedule, I don't have, those two I haven't seen.
Patrick, can you send an email to us reminding us of that so we can just reply and attach it?
Okay.
Yeah, it's important that somebody take responsibility for making sure there are no disagreements among the exhibits and the written contract. When we get all finished, when everybody's had their input and we have the
Yeah, I'm not for
final,
that.
all right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm gonna do that anyway, but yeah, that's, and if I have them, I may very well have them. I have so many emails, but I don't know, but I don't remember seeing those documents in particular, but I'll make sure with Jeff I got them.
Okay.
Can y'all hear
For
me?
the,
I can hear you now, yes.
yes.
Oh gosh, thank you. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Gilbert,
I think we're talking. I'm sorry, Matt.
I was gonna ask Gilbert if he's hearing us all. Gil still there?
Gil, you still with us?
Lost Gil.
Says he is.
Oh.
Gil?
I'm running out of paper.
I don't know.
We
All
lost
right,
him.
all right.
Oh, here he is.
Oh, he is,
There you
okay.
go.
Oh, Lord, I'm tearing up. We gotta do better with this Zoom thing. It's
Alright.
driving me nuts.
Are you hearing all the discussion that we just
Yes.
had? All right,
Yes,
good.
yeah, I've been trying to speak, but unfortunately it's not working from my end.
All
So
right,
I just ask that if it's possible, let's do this meeting after 5 o'clock. Some of us unfortunately gotta travel from the other side of
Yeah.
Oakville. Right,
Yeah.
so that.
And that's fine.
okay. Mallory, you had some comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I hope we can do this within a week. You know, this will be the third iteration of the contract that we've reviewed. The team's provided some really good comments, and so hopefully this is pretty seamless, and we can have everyone's questions answered and move forward with this. So I'd appreciate if the team can get their comments in a week or less. That's all, Matt. Thank you.
All right. I don't believe do we have any more discussion on the waterfront pier project update? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
I second.
Are you gonna go into executive session?
Second,
Are you going to executive session?
Mm-mm. We don't
No.
need to, do we?
no,
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there is one thing to discuss, yes.
okay.
I'm sorry.
We'll go into executive session for a few minutes. Would ask the membership to leave the room.
It's, that's what I'm saying.
You know, it's really.
That's kind of.
Yeah, I